Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Joshua Suliruka here, your host of the Impact Podcast Show. Now, before I introduce our next special guest on the Impact Podcast Show, I'd like to state two things. The first thing I would like to state is I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to all those that are listening to this podcast episode, either through Spotify or Apple Podcast. But I also want to say thank you to those out there who are watching this video through our YouTube channel. And so, if you guys are watching this through our YouTube channel, make sure that you guys like this video. If you guys are receiving any value, comment your thoughts. One thing I love is seeing your guys' thoughts and your ideas or any question that you guys have. Please put it in the comments down below. But most importantly, fam, make sure that you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on that bell button for the latest updates on our next video. And so that's the first thing I wanted to state before we get into this podcast episode. But the second thing I want to do, and I do this in every podcast episode that we do here on the Impact Podcast Show, is I'd like to state our mission, and our mission is simple. Our mission is to focus on impacting the one. And so if you are impacted by this podcast episode, I encourage you all, to share this, with someone else that could benefit from this, podcast episode. Because remember, it only takes one person to change someone's life, and that could possibly be you. And that will be cool. All right. And so, guys, knowing that, I'll put that aside. The intro is done. We're going to get straight into this podcast episode. I just had a chat with my man on the other side. And, guys, all I'm going to say is I'm truly grateful. I'm truly grateful right now here at this time, to be interviewing this man on the other side. And so, just a bit of background, or I guess a bit of a story as to, how I reached out to this, not yet famous dude, not yet fan, not yet. But pretty much I was scrolling through, as a typical person, typical human. I was just going through Instagram, and I seen this guy pop up on my news feed, and he was I was just looking through, and it was I think it's like the Parramatta Series and the Deity, is it that the Deity series? So I was real curious. I was like, bro, what the heck is this? Like, this looks hectic. I actually thought it was a Netflix series. That's how legit it was. But guys, we're gonna get to know more about this man on the other side. But the reason why I wanted to get him on here is because, number one, before he blows up, I wanted to get his story. But most importantly, I believe he has a story that is going to impact. It's not only going to impact myself as a special guest, but I know for sure it's going to be impacting you, for those out there that are tuning in. And so, guys, I want you all to please welcome Brendon. Brendon, bro, thank you so much for jumping on.
Yo, what's up?
Yo.
Sharks. Man, still can't believe this, man.
Yeah. So, guys, if you guys are tuning into this episode right now, me and Brendon were just having a quick chat. And it was just crazy, we were both feeding each other. I was feeding him with some love, and he was also feeding me, with some love. And so we're both ecstatic, we're both energized and ready, to pretty much pull each other's brains. But most importantly, our stories, because I believe that, our stories are really empowering. And so I guess, let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into this podcast episode. I guess, bro, with the Impact community, we have like a lot of people that are part of it that are always tuning in on a weekly basis. But I do know that we have your followers that are going to be tuning in, whether it's family, whether it's friends, or even just, fans, new fans that are coming in into your life based on, what you're doing. And so, for the Impact community, is there any chance, where you, if you could possibly share just a bit about who you are?
Yeah. So just a little bit about me. I'll introduce myself formally. My name is Brendon Tapuai. My ancestral roots are to Fa'ala Palauli and Sangone, both in Samoa, Savaii. And my diaspora roots are to Western Sydney, most specifically Bonneric. So I'm an 18-year-old Samoan boy from Western Sydney. And if you haven't already found out, or if you don't already know, I'm an actor in the new Parramatta Series, and I'm also acting in the up and coming Deity series, both by our Uso Fia, Belasasa Picks, and I'm also a rugby player, and that's me in a jiffy, I guess.
Yeah, sweet, man. And I'm so grateful, bro, that you that you even shared a bit about who you are, because, for those out there that are tuning into this podcast episode, we're going to get real. We're going to get into this podcast. We're going to, be talking about things that, that Brendon is comfortable in talking about. And so, yeah, man, I appreciate you sharing, man. Just a bit about who you are. But talk to me, man, bro. What's the rugby scene like? What's the rugby, scene for you at the moment?
So at the moment, I'm playing SG ball or under 19s at the Bulldogs. I've been playing rep footy for the last 3 years at the St. George Dragons, and so I'm the new guy here at the Dogs, and at the moment we're going through preseason, so it's pretty tough. Dying every session, bro. Like, we're getting slaughtered, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
But yeah, footy's been good, man. Like, I want to be able to make the NRL one day. That's definitely still one of my goals. So yeah, slowly, getting there slowly.
Yeah. Sweet, man. It's crazy that you mentioned SG Ball and also St. George, because I was at St. George. I ended up playing at St. George a couple of years ago, bro. It was like way back, bro. It was like 4 years ago, bro. So, yeah, I was fortunate enough to play there. Were you at James Cook? Were you guys still there? Yeah, bro.
Did you play with Izzy?
Yeah.
Silfale?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
true. That's my guy right there.
Yeah. He's the man, bro. He's the man. Crazy enough, bro. He actually jumped on the podcast. He was my number one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Check it out, bro. Check it out, bro.
I have to check that out now.
Check it out, bro. Yeah, man. So for those out there that are probably like, what the heck are they talking about? Israel Safale, shout out to my man right there. He was actually my first special guest on here on the Impact Podcast show. So he's number 1 and Brendon's number 43. so yeah, check him out, man. Check him out. But yeah, man, that's crazy, bro. So you're at Bulldogs at the moment, going through preseason. Is this your second year? Yeah, second year right now?
Second year of
SG. Is it the second year for you or first year? Or because I know that it's changed now due to COVID for next year.
Due to COVID, this is actually my third year in SG Ball.
Oh, damn. Okay. Oh, true. Okay. Yeah, no, it makes sense, bro. It makes sense. But yeah, man, like, bro, it's mad that, you're not any, because, everyone's going to know you as the person that, is in the acting, series of the Parramatta Series. Everyone's going to be talking about that. But the cool thing is, like, in this podcast episode, we're going to be talking about the things that you do behind the scenes, the things like, like your work. I know that a lot of people don't know much about you and what you're doing behind the scenes, but they are going to know when they get into this podcast episode. And so, let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into it right now. I want to talk, bro. I want to talk about your upbringing, man. I want people to know a bit more just about who Brendon is. I guess behind the scenes of, not just your acting, but also your footy. I know that a lot of people might be watching you being like, oh, this is like, like one of the, one of the greatest players, one of the greatest players out there, on the footy field. But I want to kind of take a step from that. I want to take a step back from your role or your identity of like being a footy player, being a worker, and just being you, And so for the next probably half an hour or so, we're going to get to know more about who Brendon is. And so, yeah, man, is there any chance that you can just talk about your upbringing? How was it for you growing up?
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Well, I was born in Liverpool, but I was raised up in Bonnyrigg, bro. Like, pretty much born and raised in Bonnyrigg, bro. So yeah, I went to school, Bonnyrigg Primary School, went to high school, Bonnyrigg High School, and yeah, I finished school last year. So yeah, my upbringing, man, it's hectic, bro. I'm the eldest of 5 kids. So yeah, it's pretty tough burden. But yeah, I'm the eldest of 5 kids. I've got 3 younger sisters, 1 brother, and yeah. What else is there? I guess footy-wise, I grew up playing for the Mounties. I grew up playing for Mounties and the Candy Vale Cookers, and as for life at home, we're a really religious family. So we go to church every Sunday. We go to church activities and like church services during the week and stuff like that. And very family oriented. Almost every Sunday, spending time with the family over at my cousin's house or something like that. But yeah, my upbringing was pretty solid. It was always based around family, and everything I did growing up was with family. So yeah, my mum, she's the youngest of 14
Damn.
kids. Yeah.
Yo.
And my dad is the youngest of 9 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, so all of my cousins are like, they're all older, bro. So yeah, I've got heaps of family, man. So yeah, growing up was always family. Family's, means a lot to me. So yeah.
Yeah. And what's crazy, man? Like for us PIs, like family's important. And like I think a lot of people take that for granted. Like when it comes to when you're in school, they'll be like, man, you guys are so family orientated. It's like, yeah, we're just that's just pretty much the way that we're brought up. Like, and for me, yeah, same as you, bro. Like family's like fully important. Like, especially in my life, I always say to myself, man, that there was no like if I didn't have my family, I wouldn't be the person that I am. Both positively and negatively. The good and the bad. Like you gotta mix the two. Because bro, think about it. If you didn't have the bad, bro, you wouldn't be as solid as you are now.
Bro, they gotta condition your feelings, mate.
Oh, especially with the saltiness, bro.
Yeah,
saltiness. Bro, yeah, you gotta watch out, guys. If you're listening to this right now, all right, the one thing you don't want to do is to get into a salty argument with any PIs. I'm telling you right now, you will lose. You will lose. All right, I'm just saving you. I'm saving you.
Filter, cuz.
Hard, no filter, bro. Like no filter. But yeah, bro, and I want to say, man, thank you so much for sharing, just a bit about your upbringing, man, and bro, like, how was it for you growing up, like yourself, like you were just sharing a bit about your family, with your mom and your dad, and knowing that you guys are very family orientated. But how was it for you growing up? You mentioned that you were the eldest, like you are the eldest in the family. Like, how was it carrying that role of being the eldest? How has that been for you?
Bro, it's tough, man. It's pretty tough. Like I know that us like Pacific Islanders, like we're very family oriented, but I guess it's also ironic, or what's the word? Like it's very ironic that like us Pacific Islanders also have like the highest rate of like suicide or like mental health problems, even though we're like the most family-oriented like races, or like you know what I mean, bro?
I get you, bro.
Yeah. So like for me, I always felt the love of my family, but like as for carrying like the burden of trying to make my dreams of footy, or trying to get money for like just to help out with the family, trying to set a good example for my siblings, and trying to do good in school. It was pretty hard, man. Like it did like sort of chip away at my mental health at one point.
Yep.
And it tore me apart. Like I had trouble like at school, had trouble at footy, I had trouble like just with like my relationship with our Heavenly Father, man. Like
yeah.
And it took me a really long time to dig myself out of that.
Yeah.
And I guess, oh man, I guess it just took me a really long time to get out of that, and it was a really long and like lonely process, bro. But like,
yeah,
I'm glad that like I'm here today. I'm glad that I was able to overcome that, because like, bro, like look at where I am right now, bro. Like blessings upon blessings, man.
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Man, first of all, man, like that's intense. Like people don't know. And like, bro, I'm not the eldest of my family. I'm the second eldest, and so I've only carried so much of that being the eldest role. But I've seen my brother go through a lot and have all that pressure. And so, yeah, man, bro, fully empathize with you, bro. Fully understand where you're coming from. Although I'm not the eldest, although I'm not the eldest of my family, I do empathize over you, bro. And, bro, good on you, man. Like, good on you for pulling through.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if you weren't, like, I always say this, I'm like, man, there are people out there where I look at you and be like, bro, I'm grateful that you're still alive. Why? Because, bro, people are going to be impacted, bro. Just imagine this, man. Imagine if you just said, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. Or just imagine if you had quit. Bro, you wouldn't be doing this podcast and people wouldn't be touched by your story, which we haven't even gone in yet, you know? Like, we haven't even gone into your story yet. And I do believe that people are getting touched. And, you know, although we're going to be having some people here that are going to be jumping on because of the Parramatta series that you were in, more importantly, they're going to be loving you more because of who you are, which is going to be hectic, man. Because then, obviously, I know you mentioned that you're a believer. It's like, bro, you can give it back. You know, you can give it back to the actual person that actually saved you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. 100%, bro.
Yeah, man. But yeah, bro. But like, other than that, man. So let's just do like a quick recap. You know, like you shared a bit about your family. You know, grew up. You're the eldest in the family. You've got like mum and dad. Mum and dad are from big families, which means big families equals big cousins, right? Like like many cousins out there, especially when you're in the PI family or the PI community. And then like you're just sharing just a bit about we don't like at that moment or in this moment we're just talking about you know, you being the eldest and just having that role. But man, let's just dive deeper into that, like into that role. Like, I think a lot of people tend to forget how much pressure, you know, how much pressure the elders have to carry. But you know, like you're just talking a bit about that. Like, what are some of the decisions that you had to make that that like, you know, the rest of your family don't really have to make? So, like, you know, for the other four, is it like you said 4? Yeah. There's 4 others here. So what's the decisions that you've got to make that is different to the decisions that the younger ones have to make for you?
I guess a massive one for me was school.
Yep.
So in terms of school, like not finishing high school wasn't an option for me.
Yeah.
Being the eldest, I felt like it was my responsibility to set that example for my siblings. And, you know, even though the last 2 years of my schooling years, I had a really rough time, like with my mental health and stuff.
Yeah, wow.
Like, and it just tore me apart. I still felt like I had that responsibility of finishing. And so I did finish, but like, at what risk, man? Like, I finished school and I felt like crap. Like, I finished school and I didn't want to find a job because I was so over that life. I was so over working. I was so over working for other people. I just wanted to relax. I wanted to just lay in bed and sleep. So like that was one of the responsibilities I had as being the eldest. I felt like I had the responsibility of setting that example when it came to like schooling years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing that'll probably stand out to me.
Yeah. Yeah, which is like school. Yeah. Oh, bro, 100%, man. Like, totally agree in like in where you're coming from, and it's crazy because it's all about that pressure. Like as the eldest, and you know, when it comes to, you know, parents, and I'm not putting down any, like, you know, PI families or like PI parents. I'm just, you know, talking about parents in general. You know, like being a parent, it's like the first thing you want to do is you want the best for your kids. Most importantly, for your eldest. And I'm not a father, you know, I'm not a parent, but these are the things that I have conversation with parents, and they always say, I just want the best for my kids, you know? And so, and then the thing is, like, there's a fine line, you know, there should be actually a fine line as to how far you go. You know, there should be like kind of certain types of boundaries because, you know, as you were mentioning about suicide rates, like, you know, one of the most, like, you know, in terms of races or in terms of ethnicity, like one of the highest rates is PIs. That is a true fact. I did do some research on that too while I was in uni, and it was just so surprising. And even that you mentioning, bro, about like we're family orientated, right? And like we're all about loving family and that stuff. But why is that the case? And then you have, you know, PIs committing suicide. Like it just doesn't weigh up. But bro, my question to you, man, is like, bro, like, because you mentioned, you know, you mentioned a bit about that, you know, and like I'm assuming that you've been thinking about this for some time. Bro, what's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on that? Having a family, like for us PIs being family orientated, and then knowing the fact that one of the highest, suicide rates is PIs.
Yeah. So it's a massive topic, bro. Like, it's like I think about it every now and then. It's really controversial.
Yeah.
Topic, because like what I see is that, what I reckon is, like us Pacific Islanders, we're really good at putting on a mask. We're really good at putting on a smile. Like we hide all this pain, all these emotions under a smile. And because we're so family oriented and we're so well known for being happy and always singing and always being the life of the party, it just makes it easier for us to hide those feelings. And so, like, I feel like within especially our generation, like our youth feel like they can't turn to anyone because they feel like they'll get judged.
Yeah.
And they feel like, especially us boys, we feel like we can't turn to anyone because we'll look weak or like we'll get judged. And it's ironic because we're family oriented.
Yeah.
We're all really close to our cousins. We're all really close to our parents, our siblings. Yet we can't turn to any of them, and it's tough. It sucks.
Yeah. No, that's so true, man. And bro, just add on to what you're saying. Like one thing I've learned, like just not just being a PI, but just watching multiple PI families go through this. To see their loved ones, lose themselves through suicide. The one thing I've learned from this whole thing is safety. It's just like safety. There's not enough safety, although it is family orientated. And you would know this too, bro. You would know this too when it comes to being a PI, that there's safety. Like I believe that there's not enough safety being in place. You know what I mean? That's why I was talking about, the boundary. Like there's only a certain amount of, I guess there's a limit. There's a certain limit as to how far you got to go in terms of applying pressure to, a certain, to a certain individual. But yeah, man, I've learned that, bro. If we're able, right, as a family to create an environment that is safe enough for you to be real, then I believe, right, and this is just my own personal, opinion, just based on what I've been watching, I'm telling you, there'll probably be a lower risk and lower rate of suicide if that was the case.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it's also got to do with awareness, because I know a lot of the older generation, like our parents or our grandparents, our uncles and aunties, like when you mention mental health or mental illness, they laugh about it.
Yeah,
like they don't believe that it's an actual like illness. They believe it's just like they think that the person with the illness is just putting on a show.
Yeah.
And so, like, for the person who's struggling with their mental health, they feel like they're being mocked. They feel like they feel like they can't turn to anyone, and so it sucks.
Yeah. No, it's so true, man. And even that, like, if I had to be like totally transparent and real right now, I always say this to a lot of people. The one thing that we lack in as PIs, and I don't want to generalize this because I don't feel like every PI goes through this, but I'll just utilize myself. The one thing I struggled with growing up was pride, right? Like not being able to humble myself. But I've realized, man, just through self-awareness, like, you're talking about awareness, like the one thing I've learned is, for us, like one of the things that we do is we do this thing called subtle humility, and what I mean by that is, we say, oh yeah, nah, it's all good. When like one of the boys says to you, oh, hey bro, you're looking scucks today, and the first thing that you say is, nah, all you.
Nah, you too. Yeah.
You already know, bro. You already know, man. Like yes, like in the flesh or like in person, like it sounds like, yeah, you're giving it to them, but realistically, bro, let's be real here, right? Inside, you're just like, I want more. Right, I want more. Give me some more. Nah, all you, bro. All you. Is that something that you can relate to? Like
100%, bro. And because I think it's like a lot of us Pacific Islander boys, like we get that tough love growing up, bro.
Mm.
Like from the old man, like we don't get a lot of words of love and encouragement. It's always tough love. Like after a rugby game,
Oh, don't.
yeah, after a rugby game, that car ride home. If you're a rugby player, you know that car ride home, bro. You know that car ride home, bro. It's lethal, man. Like, you know, your dad loves you, bro, but he won't say it. And so what happens is, like, we grow up thinking that it's natural for us to not receive that sort of love. And so that's what happens when, like, our usos, they'll give us compliments and we just bounce it off because we're not used to getting all this
legit.
love. Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Oh man, yeah. I'm just like, yeah. I've realized that a lot, and for me, like, I'm always wanting to try my best to point it out before they point it out. You know, like, sorry, point it out for them before they get pointed out by someone else, and just be like, hey man, like, bro, just accept it. Just accept the fact that you're skunks, bro. Like, you know, accept it and then like move on because yeah, like I didn't think you realized, but you're milking it, you know, and it's not actually going to help you in the long run. And hey, I'm putting my hand up. I went through that through high school. I've done the same thing. Nah, all you, bro, all you, nah, you're good looking. Nah, you're skunks. And then looking at myself now, I'm like, bro, I'm only just saying that because I want more.
Yeah, I think that's. Shucks, that sounds like me right now.
Bro, that's just something that I struggle with, man. And it was crazy because I did mention to you, bro, like, you know, in every podcast that I do with people, they always learn something. But yeah, man, like, yeah, I did struggle with that growing up. And, you know, every time someone says, you know, just like yourself, bro, I appreciated the words that you had shared. And like, I'm just trying my best to not, you know, fill myself up, you know, that's the last thing you want to do. But yeah, man, bro, first and foremost, bro, thank you so much for sharing. You know, for those out there that are tuning in, you know, whether we like either through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or through our YouTube channel, always know that everything that we do, you know, on this Impact Podcast show, like, if you guys are, you know, feeling like you guys need someone to talk to, or if you guys can relate to what we're saying, make sure that you guys, you know, seek out for some help. We are here. We are open. I'm open. You know, I'm open to have a conversation. You know, make sure you guys, you know, check out my Instagram if you guys want to talk. You know, I know Brendon would be cool, you know, to do that. You know, and he's, sorry, he'll like free up his time. You know, that's if he's able to. But yeah, guys, at the end of the day, we're just sharing this. Why? Because we want to bring awareness. You know, these are real things that a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, man, I guess let's shift out. Let's shift out of that talk. Because I know that if we keep talking about that, bro, it's gonna be like 5 hours. But bro, the next thing I want to do right now, man, is you know, one thing I believe in is before the glory, there was always a story. You know, I believe that before the glory, there's always a story. Like, you know, Brendon's in the position right now where he's starting to feel that, you know, the glory side of, you know, being able to, you know, be on podcasts. You know, this isn't his first one. This is actually his second one. He was on the Usos, you know, Table Talks. You know, shout out to the guys out there, you know, doing what they're doing. You know, that was his first podcast. This is his second one now. And, you know, he's starting to feel it. You know, he's starting to feel the fame and the glory. And by all means, bro, reap it, bro. You know, reap it out. But what I want to do right now is I want to know more about your story, man. You know, like, you know, for the first part, we're just talking about your upbringing. But the one thing I want to do now, bro, is I want to get into the deeper side. You know, I want to get into the moment where people will jump on this podcast and be like, no. I know Brendon. Right? I know Brendon now. And I know what's behind him. Why? Because I tuned into this podcast. So, bro, I guess the question I want to ask you, man, is what would you say? Because I know that you're talking about it before about mental health and how, you know, that you struggled through high school. Hey, I'm putting my hand up. I was in the exact same position as you, bro. You know, growing up from like, you know, in going through year 11 and 12, bro, one of the most stressful times in my life. Probably gone through worse, but yeah, it was one of the most stressful times on like in my life. So I truly understand where you're coming from, bro. But the question I got for you, man, is what was or what is the biggest setback that you have gone through in your life?
Ooh, the biggest setback.
Yeah.
Hmm. I think again that would have to be my battles with like my mental health issues, only because it lasted so long. It lasted over the period of like I didn't even notice or recognize that I was suffering from mental health issues. Um, but it had lasted for well over a year or so, and I sort of just brushed it off. And so for me, um, like those 2 years or that year or so was probably the hardest year of my life, man. And we're in 2020, like COVID hit us so hard this year, and still I will say that the year last year was probably the hardest year of my life. Only because I was experiencing like issues with my mental health, and I was also trying to balance um, like church classes in the morning. So I would wake up at like 5:30 in the morning, go to church classes, then finish up at 8, I'll finish up at 7, then I'll go to school, then straight from school I'd go to training, and I'd go from training to home, and I'd get home 9:30, 10 o'clock every night. And so I did that for 2 years, bro. And my mental health just, bro, my mental health just went down the drain, bro. And so
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I could reach out to anyone. I didn't feel like I could rely on anyone. I still went out with the boys, but like I said, I put on that mask or that smile that us Islanders are so good at putting on, and I just hit it so well, bro. And like I wasn't happy, man.
Mm.
Like I would come home and I wouldn't talk to anyone. I wouldn't eat anything. And even at footy training, like my work ethic was just down the drain, bro. I just didn't want to be there. Like the one thing that I loved doing, which was play footy, I didn't even want to be there. Like it it was killing at me. Like it was just killing me for that whole year or so. And I guess for me that was the biggest setback. And I'm grateful for that setback, man, because like now I'm able to share that story. Now I'm able to show that people. Now I'm able to show people that they can get through like their battles as well, bro. So yeah, for me that was my biggest and longest setback, and yeah, I was able to overcome that eventually, and yeah, I'm sitting here now, so pretty crazy. Yeah, really blessed, man.
Yeah, nah, bro. Like, man, first off, man, like it ain't easy. It ain't easy to share your setbacks. Hence the reason why I always told every special guest that jumps on here. I'm really thankful that you're sharing, because it ain't easy. For those out there that are tuning in, it ain't easy to jump on here and just put on this nice facade, this nice
Yeah.
nice mask, and be like, yo, like life's good, like I'm all famous. Yeah, we've gone through struggles. We all have. I've gone through struggles too. And the cool thing about this Impact Podcast show is that we get to get stories from people that no one knows.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing about this podcast. And so, people are going to know more about you, bro, for who you are as opposed to what you do, which is amazing. Like how cool would it be you walking around not needing to put a facade on because everyone just knows you for who you are.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's true freedom,
Yeah.
being able to walk around and be like, bro, I don't have to be putting a facade on. Everyone knows,
Mm.
everyone knows I love chicken, Why? Because like they know, like they just know,
Yeah.
they know who I am. And let's say, for example, like you steal something, they'll be like, no, that's not him. That's not Brendon. Brendon doesn't do that. And so it makes it a lot more easier, like you don't have to be faking it. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you, man, sharing it. And crazy enough, bro, I went through the same thing. That is crazy. When you were talking, bro, like guys, if you guys are listening to this, like we didn't talk about this before, right? This is like me and Brendon. This is actually the first time we've connected, and it's crazy enough that for me, when I was in high school, going through my last year, I went through the same situation, bro. Like my mental health drained me. I was doing exactly the same as you. I'm probably not the classes in the morning, but I was waking up early. Like had to wake up early, go to training for school, and then after school go to, obviously have school. Then after school go straight to St. George.
Yeah.
Like I was in the same, I was in a similar position as you, bro. in terms of playing. Because bro, you were at St. George for SG, right?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, from Mats to SG.
Yeah. And so you had to travel all the way from Bonnyrigg to Cogra. Yeah, I already know the go, bro.
Yeah, so it was, bro, hour and 20 minutes there, hour and 20 minutes back, bro.
100%, bro. And bro, were you driving or was mom driving? Dad, like who was taking
No,
you there?
I was actually catching the train.
Oh, bro, yeah, stuff that, bro. Yeah, an hour and 20.
Yeah,
An hour and 20.
three trains there and 3 trains back, bro.
Yeah.
3 nights
bro.
a week, sometimes 4.
Bro,
Crazy,
I was grateful, man. I was grateful because I had a car and I had my P's. Like, I was grateful for that, bro. Because instead of me getting there for an hour and 20, like it was like only like 50, 50 minutes, but that was the minimum. Like I wasn't gonna get there earlier because of peak traffic, man. It was crazy. And yeah, man, I went through the same thing as you, bro. Like through my last year of high school, was playing SG, and like same as you, bro. Work ethic started to drop. Like my passion, bro, started to drop. And then, bro, yeah, mental health got me hard, bro. But that's the reason why I'm so like I respect you, bro. I respect you for talking about this, man. But bro, were you ever able to find out what the real cause behind it was? Like, did you end up finding out what the real like root behind it was? Like, because I know that for some PIs, for ourselves, like we sometimes we don't know, sometimes we don't even know what the root is. But I would love to know, bro. And if you don't know, I would love to help you out on that, bro. Into this podcast. But yeah, man, was it like, did you end up finding out the root behind it as to why you're experiencing those moments?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of things. So it was a combination of like what was happening at training, what was happening like with at church, because I was so tired. And just, like with my grades at school, it was a combination of those things. But I think the main thing, the biggest thing was like what was happening at training. So 2019, the 2019 SG ball season, I played SG ball a year young. So I was 17 and I played under 18s. And I trained. So like I told you, I caught 3 trains there, 3 trains back. I did that for a whole year, and I never got picked to play a single. I only got picked to play the final 2 games of the season. And so the whole season, I was just hating on myself because I was thinking to myself, oh, like, what am I missing? And like with all due respect to the boys who were in the starting lineup, I believed that I could put it on them. I believed that I could play better than them.
Yeah.
And just to not get picked week in, week out, and having to travel like all that way just to not get picked every week, it just tore at me that whole year. And so it killed me at school, it killed me at church, and eventually it made me not want to play footy. Like the end of 2019 into this year, I almost wasn't going to play because my contract with the Dragons was over, and I wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that caused that problem, I guess.
Bro, this is crazy, man. I don't know how this is happening, but bro, I went through the same thing. Oh my gosh. This is crazy, bro. Like, guys, I'm just shocked because like when like everything that Brendon's sharing, it reminds me of what happened with me when I was growing up. I was in a similar position as you, bro. Like went through, like I was at Para. Like I was in the Parramatta system.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what I mean, bro? Like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Went from Para, and then like I ended up moving from Para to in the SG ball season, went to St. George, and same thing, bro. Like when I ever found out that I wasn't playing or like I wasn't starting or even playing any games, bro, I would get cut. Like I'd be cut, be like, bro, are you telling me that I have to travel? Right. And like, bro, for me, I was only traveling an hour, whereas for you, you're traveling like, bro, 20 minutes over. So you're traveling an hour and 20 just to get there and train and not get picked.
Yeah.
Like, bro, fully understand you, man. That there, bro, I can relate to. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, bro, I understand. No, I understand, bro. I went through the same thing, man.
Yeah.
And
Bro, and
like, how was it for you, bro? How was it for you, like knowing that you had to travel like so constantly, knowing, or even that having hope, like having hope that you were gonna play? Like, how were you able to manage it?
bro, honestly, I don't think I did manage it. Like, and I think that showed in the way that my grades at school dropped, and it showed in the way that my work ethic dropped at training, and in terms of trying to maintain my relationship with God, with Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't manage it very well, bro. Like, I know, bro, like, because I had to catch 3 trains back home from training, and get this, I was the only boy from Western Sydney who was in that team.
Mm.
The rest of them lived down in the Shire. So
Yeah.
I caught the train home from training by myself that whole year. So, bro, the whole season, an hour and 20 minutes, 3 or 4 nights a week, I would spend by myself on that train, not talking to anyone, just listening to my music. And bro, like some nights, honestly, like some nights I'd cry, like catching the train back home, bro. Like that's what it was, man. Like I'd get back to the station, I'd be so gutted from training. Like I'd waste my ass off at training.
Yeah.
And I'd just cry myself, bro. Like just sitting on the platforms at the train stations, I'd just cry, man. Like it was so bad, bro. Like I didn't manage it very well, to be honest.
Yeah, man. And like, for those out there that are listening, like, this is real. Yeah, this is the real talk that we're talking about here. You know what I mean? Like this is something that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to being a rugby league player. Like, these are the things that we all carry. But I'm not saying it's just rugby league players. It's just people in general. Like, I've learned through the course of my life that, hey, if someone's struggling, there's a reason why. There's a reason why. There's something that they need and they're not getting it. And like, with you, bro, like the one thing that you weren't getting was an opportunity. You said, bro, you already knew, bro, you're working your butt off. And bro, that's a tough thing, man. That's a tough thing that footy does to you.
Get this, right? So I told you that I played the last 2 games of the season. The coach and the assistant coach come up to me after both games, and they say, why didn't they play me earlier during the season? Bro, I feel like cooking them right there, bro. honest, I feel like cooking them right there.
Yeah, man. Bro, honestly, this is the things, like, this is the thing I always say to people. Like, you need to always understand that there is a story behind everything.
Yeah.
There's a story behind, why, certain, like, let's say, for example, rugby league, like, when it comes to certain rugby league players, why they leave. It's not just because they just want to leave. No. There's a root behind it. I always think of it like a fruit and a root. Like, the fruit of the issue is like, yeah, they just don't want to play because they want to focus on family, right? But that's the cover up to the real root being like, no, you suck. You suck as a coach, and I'm leaving. I'm gapping it because of you. Now, this is the realness. Like, I'm just being real, and I'm just talking based on experience because I went through the same issue. I had a certain coach, and I was like, bro, honestly, the real reason why I don't want to play is because, like, I don't know why you're not playing me. It's like, I don't know why you're not playing me. And yeah, these are kind of the things that I've learned. But bro, the question I got for you, man, is knowing that you went through it, what was the things that you've learned knowing that you've gone through it? Like, what were some of the things that you learned about yourself going through that, that setback that you went through?
I guess for me, it was, sometimes when we're down and, we're looking for a way out of those hard situations, or we're looking for a way out of those ditches that we get stuck in sometimes. Sometimes we look for help from other people. Like, sometimes we look up to other people. But sometimes, for me, or a lot of the times for me, we just have to dig deep and find that strength within ourselves. You know, the only person who can drag yourself out of that is yourself. For me, it was my participation at church. Really got me feeling stronger, feeling better, and I was able to drag myself out of the situation. You know, like, I think for those out there who are struggling with those kind of problems, is to dig deep, to focus on yourself, and to, you know, seek for help from others. But still, I think the biggest person you can rely on is yourself. And, you know, you're the only person stopping yourself from reaching your goals, reaching where you want to be. So, yeah, I guess that's what I gotta say.
Bro, spot on, man. Like, spot on. People don't realize this. Like, I say this all the time, and it was actually like, because crazy enough, like, you know, just before, you know, Brendon was talking about, like, he had seen me on like one of the real videos or whatever had popped up, and so he had seen my face, and he's like, "Oh, bro, I love what you're doing." I'm like, "Yeah, appreciate it, bro." But in one of the videos that I put up, you know, the one thing I did was, like, you know, I shared about why I wake up so early, and one of the first reason why is to deal with the hardest thing. The hardest task to do, like, in the whole day, is dealing with myself. Like, if you think about it, you are your worst enemy. You know, it's not the person on the other side of the footy field. You know, it's not the person that you hate at school, or even that. It's not the one that, you know, it's not the guy that took your missus, you know, at work. I don't know. Or took your missus. Yeah, it's you. It's the one that, like, you know, if you guys can see the video, there's a mirror here, right? It's you. And bro, you were spot on with it, man. Like, you were fully spot on when it came to, you know, focusing on you, because the only person that can actually fully pull you out of it is you. Why? Because you know yourself best. Like, you know yourself best, man.
100%, bro.
Legit, bro. And so, bro, I appreciate you sharing about your setback, man, and even that, just going into the fine route, being in the fact that it was footy. You know, footy was the route as to why, like, you know, everything started to drop. But you know what, man, just by listening to you, bro, like, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, bro, but it sounds to me that the only reason why Brendon started to, you know, drop his, you know, standards and everything else is because, you know, he had that dream of becoming an NRL player. Like, out of everything else, his goal and his heart was to become an NRL player, and he can't be, you know, making those steps into playing an NRL player if he's not playing. You know, if he's not jumping on the footy field, then he's not being, like, he won't be able to, be successful in terms of playing rugby league. But bro, the question I got for you, man, from that point is, bro, what keeps you going? You know, when things are like, you know, in those moments where you're wanting to quit, bro, you know, those moments where you're on the platform crying, like, you know, your eyes are bawling your eyes out when no one was watching you. Like, in those moments, bro, like what was the why? Like, what was your heart? What was your heart into driving and pushing forward for you?
I guess knowing that, you know, nothing's impossible. Like, nothing's ever out of your reach. Like, I knew that, like, some weeks I had a feeling that I wouldn't get picked. But I guess what kept me going was, oh, hey, I might get picked the week after.
Yeah.
So I'm going to train my ass off and I'll get picked the week after. If not, then I'll get picked the week after. If not, I'll get picked the week after. And what happened is I got picked for the last 2 weeks of the season, and the coach tells me he regrets not paying me for the start of the season. And so I guess for me, it's always waiting for that opportunity, like always working hard for when that opportunity comes, and then you just take it up, bro. Like, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, nice. I like that. And hey, it's true. Like, this is what we got to do. Like, if you get, you know, if you fall down, get back up. You know, if you fall down, get back up. You know, and like, yeah, man. Like, I love the way that you said that, because I look at my life and where I'm at right now, and there was constant setbacks, like constant after constant after constant. You know, getting beaten down, me wanting to quit, you know, and just like drop everything. But hey, like, it becomes, you know, one thing I believe in is, like, you know, the mess that you're going through will turn into a message, right? It's very cliche. People always say that, but I truly believe in that. And the one thing I do believe in too, and I shared this to someone like, it was some question that popped up on Instagram, but I do believe that it's very applicable to this podcast episode or the talk that we're going through, is that the pain that you endure, right? The pain that you endure now will be a testimony for someone else. It will actually be a breakthrough. The pain that you're going through right now is going to be also that the pain that you endure through right now is going to be a breakthrough for someone else. And I believe that someone's getting a breakthrough right now. I believe that someone's listening to this being like, man, I'm like them too. You know, I went through the same thing. Like, and it's cool because what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to ask Brendon, my bro, the question I got for you now, man, is knowing that you went through that setback, you know, knowing that you went through, you know, the moments of you going to training so often and like hoping to jump onto the footy field, you know, to play with your brothers. Like, what was the setup for you? Knowing that you went through that setback, what was the setup for you to be where you're at right now?
Sure. I guess for me, after such a crappy year, last year, I guess what set me up real good, like I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but it was like COVID. COVID set me up really good this year. Like I know that a lot of people might say that this year is the worst year, but without COVID, I wouldn't have gained the strength that I have right now. I guess after like the year that I had with footy last year, if there's anything that I learned, it was to keep going. It was to never give up, and that the setup really was that I would give it one more season. So I had a crappy year of footy, 2019. And I told myself I'd give it one more season. And so I gave it one more season, and I actually had a breakout season this year. It was crazy. Like, although my season did unfortunately end early because of COVID, I had probably my best year of rep footy this year. I scored my first hat trick in rep footy as well. So yeah, I was crazy. I love that. And yeah, I scored every single game of the SG Ball season this year. So yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, that was my setup. It was just giving myself that one more chance, never giving up, giving myself that one more season. And so yeah, I gave myself that one more season, and I had a hectic year of footy this year.
Yeah, man. And bro, you need to celebrate it, bro. You need to be celebrating, man. Like, not, I wouldn't say just here, bro, but like obviously, you know, like we're heading into the end of the year. And bro, for what you had gone through, you know, last year, and looking at yourself right now, bro, who would have said that Brendon would be on this podcast right now sharing his story? Who would have thought? Who would have thought, man?
No one, bro.
No, not even 1 cent, bro. But honestly, the cool thing is that it's happening now.
Yeah. Like the last thing, like becoming an actor and acting on like a TV series, the last thing I would have imagined myself doing, bro. But that's what I mean. Like I'm so grateful that like COVID hit. Like although like a lot of things did get caught off, although like a lot of bad things did happen, there were a lot of good things that came out of it too, bro. And like one of those things was being able to, you know, feature on a TV series. So it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, legit, man. And you know what's crazy too, bro, is that the people that are on the TV series, you know, the actors that are, you know, that you get to hang out with, man, and that you guys that you had to do the journey with, they're probably gonna listen to this and be like, bro, I didn't even know that. You know, I didn't know that this is a good, and that was the purpose as to why I wanted to interview people. Because people don't know the story, man. People don't know the story behind Brendon, right? People don't know the story behind Josh, you know, myself. And so whenever I get people on, it's just like, bro, this is your time. This is your time to shine, right? To share your story. Why? Because I believe that, you know, this is something that one of like my, you know, most inspirational guys out there, his name's Ed Marlette. He would say this: facts tells, but story sells. right? You can tell the facts. You can say you're the man, right? You can say that you scored 3 tries, right? Or score a hat trick. But the thing is, once you share the story, that's where people get sold in.
Yeah.
Once you start sharing the story, that's when people are like, bro, I love this dude. Why? Because instead of you, bro, sharing, oh man, I scored the hat trick at the start, like that would have been a completely different story, bro. If you said, oh, bro, my name's Brendon, I score hat tricks. You know, okay, that's a fact. Yes, that's true. But because you shared the story and then you said, oh, you know, I scored my hat trick, completely different story, you know, a completely different way of seeing it. And so, bro, I'm excited, man, because what we're going to do right now is knowing that for the probably good solid like 40 to like 50 minutes, we've just been talking about you, man.
Yeah.
But now what we get to do is just talk about what you're doing right now, which is, I think, what everyone's on here for. People are probably going to be like, bro, I'm only here because, like, you know, he was an actor. And so, bro, let's get straight into it, man. Like you did mention about, you know, the Parramatta series. But, bro, talk to us, man. Like, let's just act as if no one knows. Let's just act as if no one knows what this is. And so, bro, could you share about what, you know, the Parramatta series is?
Yeah, sure. So, the Parramatta series is about a bunch of young Pacific Islander boys from Western Sydney who are chasing their NRL dream. They're trying to make it into the NRL. You know, they're going through that preseason phase, and you know, they're just trying to grow up in Western Sydney. It's more so about the life behind and outside footy than it is about the actual footy scene. So yeah, it captures what happens behind the scenes of footy for us Islander boys in the West. You know, it captures, you know, what we might do on the weekends, how we might feel at home with our families. And so, yeah, that's what the Parramatta series is about, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like, guys, all I want you guys to do, if you guys are tuning in and you haven't watched it, like, watch it. Watch it, okay? Because this is going to give you a glimpse of the reality of what actually happens behind the scenes. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, it's crazy to see where you are now compared to where you were like a year ago, you know? Like the person that you are, where you are now compared to the person that you were before, bro, totally different person. But yeah, man, like, I'm excited, bro. It's just, you know, talk just a bit about, you know, how your experience was, you know, behind the scenes. And so, bro, talk to us, man. What was the go? What was the story behind you getting the actual gig?
Bro, I love telling this story, man. Oh, mate. So, like the story of me, the way I got into the acting gig was, so Sophia Belasasa, the director for the Parramatta series, he had posted in late June, an audition post. He posted an audition call. He was looking for people to audition for 2 roles, and those were the roles for Atonio and the roles for Marvin and Isaiah. And so I got tagged in that post by a cousin in New Zealand.
Yo.
And I auditioned like as a joke, bro. Like the one thing that I love to do, which was play footy, I couldn't do that. And I wasn't working at the time because it's COVID lockdown. I couldn't work. And so I thought I'd give acting a gig. So I applied for the audition. I auditioned in my garage because the script had swearing in it, and I didn't want my So I applied for the audition. They gave me the audition link over Zoom, and I took my laptop to the garage, and I auditioned in the garage. And bro, about 3 days later, I get an email saying that I got the role. And like, I didn't tell anyone that I was doing it. I didn't tell my family, didn't tell any of the boys. I just did it. And so when I got the role, I was flipping out, bro. Like, I was so happy, bro. I was like in my room dancing and everything, bro. And I didn't even tell anyone. So I got notified that I got the role in, I think it was early July. And I didn't tell anyone that I got the role till early August, bro. So I sat on it for a whole month. And I auditioned, I got the role. And, you know, fast forward to August the 28th August the 20th, I think it was. We shot Parramatta Series and the Deity Series. So yeah, that was how I got into acting, and like fast forward to now, our Parramatta Series has dropped, and yeah, so that's how I got into the acting stuff, bro.
Bro, that is crazy, man.
Yeah.
That is crazy, bro. That's such a crazy story because people were probably saying, man, this guy probably like, planned it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get in. But the real story is it was just a joke.
Yeah, bro. Like, as bad as it does sound, I literally filled in the form for the audition, I filled it in, not intending to audition at all. Yeah. And then they sent me the audition and had all the email for the audition link. It was, bro, like it took me like probably 5 or 6 minutes to read through it, and I was like, bro, this stuff is actually legit. It's actually serious. And I was like, bro, like maybe I should do this stuff. Like, why not? I'm not working. I'm not playing rugby. Why not? And so I did it, and I got it, bro. I was flipping out, man. It's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. And you know what, man? Like, but I love listening to these stories because these are the stories that not everyone gets to hear. Not everyone knows the story behind you. Like, and you know what? Hey, it is what it is, man. Like, bro, it was a joke, but look at you now, bro. Like, bro, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see where the Parramatta Series goes. I know that it's going to be the talk of the town soon, right? If not soon, probably now, right? People are going to be just talking about it. But yeah, man, bro, what a story, man.
Yeah.
And bro, it sounds to me, man, that you can relate. Like let's talk about the character. Let's talk about the character. Do you want to share just a bit about your character that you're playing?
Yep. So the character that I play, his name is Atonio, and my character, he's actually from New Zealand. He's actually from Rotorua in NZ, and so the team Parramatta Lions, one of the players go missing, and that player happens to be the coach's son, and so the coach has to find a replacement for that position because then they can't play for the rest of the season. And so he finds a young Samoan boy from Rotorua and NZ, and he scouts him from NZ. And so Atonio, he moves from New Zealand into Western Sydney, and he fits right into the Parramatta Lions team. And so when he comes to Western Sydney, he feels like he has to make his family back in NZ proud. He feels all that pressure of making his family proud. He feels all that pressure of making the coach proud because he paid for his trip over to Western Sydney. And he feels the pressure from his teammates because he's just replaced one of their own players.
Yeah.
And he feels like he has to fill that role. And so in episode 1, you might tell that Atonio isn't feeling too good. He doesn't feel like he wants to be there. And he's having troubles with his family and his friends back home. And that trouble follows him to Western Sydney. So yeah, that's Atonio in a wrap. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. And you know what, man? Like from the sounds of it, it sounds like with the character that you're playing, it sounds like, bro, there's a bit of relatability that you have with this character. And so, do you want to talk about that, man? Do you want to talk about how you're able to kind of relate to the actual character that you're playing?
Yeah, sure. So Atonio in a few of the scenes, he displays emotions of loneliness and sadness and depression almost. And I guess not only me, bro. Like I believe that a lot of our boys here in Western Sydney and Australia and New Zealand will be able to relate to the character of Atonio. And that's also why I believe I find it not easy, but I find it so smooth to play the role of Atonio because I'm acting, but at the same time I'm not. Mm-hmm. Because the things that Atonio is thinking, the things that he is experiencing, the burdens that are on his shoulders and the burdens that are on his mind. They're the same things that us boys in Western Sydney go through on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, bro. So I think a lot of us boys in Western Sydney will be able to relate to Atonio in a way. So yeah, I believe Atonio will be a really good character in the Parramatta series, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, no, legit, man. And that's the reason why I asked the question, because I'm like listening to your story and then like listening to the character you're playing, and I'm like, bro, there's a lot of connections, which makes it easier, bro. Like, it actually does make it, I wouldn't say easy, but yeah, as you mentioned, smooth. There's like a smooth transition where you can bounce off. Like, you can bounce into, Atonio, and then after that, go back to normal life. But the cool thing is, man, I think, because like one thing I've never done in my life is I've never become an actor, right? I've never, although, I've acted in, like acting classes. I'm not going to talk about that. But, at the end of the day, man, like knowing that you can say to yourself that you are an actor, right? That you've played the role of acting someone else. Like, how is the experience? How is the experience on being an actor, knowing that you're acting like as a character? Like, how has that been for you? How has your experience being an actor been for you?
It's been amazing, man. Like, to be able to play the character of Atonio and to be able to represent that image of like vulnerability, like that our boys experience here in Western Sydney, or may experience here in Western Sydney. It's a privilege, man. It's an honor. Like, I know, I definitely know that a lot of boys will be able to relate to the character of Atonio, and to be able to play the role of Atonio and to be able to be the sort of image or sort of person that boys can find comfort in and can relate to. It's a privilege, man. It's an honor, and I hope and pray that boys in Western Sydney and all over Australia can find comfort in relating to Atonio and his story and his circumstances, bro. So yeah, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, and like even that to not just to yourself, but there's also a full cast that are out there too. And so, bro, how was that experience knowing that you were working around with like-minded people that have probably gone through? Like, were there some people that you met that could understand and relate to not just your story, but also their character story? Was that something very evident in the series, like when you were doing the filming?
To Atonio's story?
Oh no, sorry. Let's say to your character story. So for everyone else, could they relate to the?
Yeah, definitely. Because like the other characters, they do carry burdens with them as well. They carry the burdens of being the older brothers of boys who are trying to chase NRL dreams. Some of the Pacifica women in the series, they carry the burdens of being those strong women behind all these strong male faces that we see on TV. These characters, they portray. How do I put it? These characters, they also carry burdens with them, bro. They carry the burdens of not being able to speak out and not being able to reach out. They carry the burdens of being the disappointment of the family. Those are some of the burdens that the other characters in the cast of Parramatta series carry. And so, like, each of our characters carry some sort of burden, and I'm sure that everyone who watches the Parramatta series will be able to relate to and resonate with at least one of the characters in the cast. So yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's the reason why I'm like really excited to see where this Parramatta series goes, because I think the more the more episodes that start to become revealed, the more that people are going to be connected to it and be like, bro, I relate to, Atonio, or I relate to Marvin, all these characters are going to be like, no, I fully relate. And that's the true beauty behind, series, but most importantly, stories.
Yeah.
Right. When it comes to a story in general, right, what's the main focus? It's like, can I actually relate to this certain type of person? Yeah. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see where the Parramatta series goes. Like, there's like that was the of this recording, right? The Parramatta series just launched just yesterday. It just launched yesterday, and so yeah, there's probably it's probably still fresh, still new. But yeah, guys, make sure that you guys are tuning into the series. I'm going to be tuning in, seeing this pretty boy over here, being right in the spotlight. And so, bro, all I want to say, man, it's been such a really good conversation that we've been having on this podcast episode. But bro, I got a few questions just before we wrap up this podcast, because I do know that you got things to do, man. And so, the question I got for you, man, is throughout this whole journey, of you going through being an actor, you going through COVID and just doing it as a joke, just jumping on as a joke, to now you being in the spotlight, being like, man, this isn't actually a bad idea. I'm actually grateful that I'm in this position. What are some of the things that you've learned in terms of your journey through being an actor, especially heading into the Parramatta series?
Well, one of the things that I learned is that we're much stronger than we think we are. Like, we have so much more potential than we think we have. Like, I get clocked about this a lot by some of the guys in the Parramatta cast. I'm known for like always nodding my head and always being in disbelief, because I still can't believe I'm doing this stuff.
Yeah, man.
Like, that's just me underestimating myself. And what I want to share is that don't underestimate yourself, because you're so much stronger than you think you are. You can do so much more things than you think you can do, bro. Like, if you're out there and you're willing to get into acting, take that first step. Like, take that first step. If you just want to try it out of curiosity, take that first step. Like, if you don't get into acting, you're not losing anything. But if you do get a gig, then you're gonna look back and you're gonna be grateful that you took that first step. It's crazy. So yeah, that's one thing that I would want to share, is to don't underestimate the power that you have to reach your goals, to exceed your potential, man. And I guess another thing is to never give up. There were a lot of times that I wanted to pull out. Like, I actually got the role of Marvin in the Parramatta series originally, and I wanted to pull out because I didn't want to do it, because I was scared of what my mates would think. I was scared what my family would think. And so eventually I just didn't care what they thought anymore, and I didn't give up on that opportunity, on that dream, and now I'm here as the lead of the Parramatta series. So yeah, that's another thing I want to share, is to never give up, and to never close the door on an opportunity that comes your way, to always take up that opportunity, because you never know where it may take you. So yeah, those are two of the things that I want to share. Yeah.
Yeah, no, hectic, man. That is hectic. Hey, I'm getting encouraged, bro. I'm getting encouraged. Maybe I should get into into acting now.
Jump on. Yeah.
Oh man, nah, bro. Big ups to you, man. Big ups to you, bro. Like, just to hear your story, and then from hearing your story to seeing where you are now, man, bro, who wouldn't have known? Yeah. Like, I would have never seen in a day's light, bro, you being like on a cast in the Parramatta series. But hey, let's be real, right? Let's thank God for for COVID, right? COVID coming through, because I'm gonna be real, all right, and I'm gonna share this, okay? If it wasn't for COVID, but everything that I'm doing now would have never happened. So I'm in the same boat as you, bro. Like, fully grateful, fully grateful, man. And so, bro, as we start finishing up this podcast, bro, honestly, I can go for ages. Like, this is how good the conversation is, man.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up now, man, I want to ask you, bro, like, what's the vision now? You were talking about, footy and that you love playing footy and your goal is to become an NRL player. But knowing that you went through this route of going into, acting, and although it was a joke, it sounds like a blessing, behind the scenes. Like, it was just like a, covered blessing for you. And so knowing that you went through this, acting season as to where you are now, being the lead,
Yeah.
cast or character in the Parramatta Series, bro, where do you see yourself now? Like, heading on into the future, what's the vision for Brendon?
I see myself acting in a few more like projects, productions.
Yo, come
Actually,
on.
yeah. So like, and this isn't just my vision, bro. This is like a collective vision that we formed over here at the in our Pilasasa Pigs family. Like, bro, like there's a term that we brought up the other day, and that term is Pollywood. Like, we want to,
Yo,
yeah, Pollywood, bro. Like, we want to fill up Australia, Australia, New Zealand. We want to fill up the world with all these Pacifica productions, all these Pacifica projects, bro. And so we're just gonna be flooding Australia within the next year or two with all these Pacifica projects, man. So yeah, that's my vision. I want to see myself telling those stories. I want to see myself being a part of all this storytelling, all this filmmaking, all this acting stuff. I see myself being involved in all of this, man. And I want to encourage anyone out there, if you're looking to get into acting, if you're looking to get into the film industry, continue showing your love and support. Continue to follow all these creatives, such as the Belasasa Dream, Belasasa Pics. Support your brown brothers and sisters. And soon enough, you'll find yourself involved in the film industry, in acting. Pretty quickly, bro. So yeah, like I see myself and the rest of Western Sydney up on TV real soon, bro.
come on.
Like, we're all gonna eat at the table real soon, bro. All of us, man.
Yo, bro, let's go, man. Let's go. Bro, I'm getting keen, man. I can't wait, bro. I literally can't wait, man. That gets me excited, bro.
Yeah.
That gets me so excited, man. But because the reason why I'm so excited is because who would have known? Who would have known, bro? Pollywood, bro. I fully believe that can happen, man. And like, bro, if I believe that can happen, knowing that you already have the faith and belief, bro, that's it, bro. Go on.
Bro, if people knew how hard that our Pacifica like brothers and sisters grinded, or if they knew how hard they grind in the film industry, bro, then they'd be sharing non-stop, bro. Like my mentors in the film industry, bro, they don't sleep, man. Like, they don't sleep. Like, I'll message him, I'll ask him a few questions, like 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and he'll reply to me within like 10, 15 seconds. Like, they don't sleep, bro. They're grinding 24/7 to tell our stories, to share our culture, to get rid of all these stereotypes, all this stigma on our culture, on our skin color, bro.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's gonna be a massive year for us Islanders next year and within the next few years, bro. So yeah, like, to everyone out there, show your love, show your support. Not only for those in the film industry, but those in the music industry as well, bro. Or those, just working hard in their business, those working hard on their podcasts. Bro, support everyone and anyone, bro. Like, people underestimate the power of sharing, bro. Like, you could share one thing, or share one story, share one post, and it could reach one person, the right person, and you could open hundreds, millions of doors for them, millions of opportunities for them, bro. So it's gonna be crazy, man. I can't wait, bro.
Yeah. Bro, keen, man. I'm so keen for you, bro. Like, and it's crazy. People don't know this, but this is the first time that we've met each other. Yeah. And bro, I'm like just excited, bro. Why? Because I know your story, bro. That's the reason why. Yeah. Like, bro, I know for sure, man. If I didn't know your story at all, bro, I wouldn't be this excited. I reckon I'd be like, oh, he's just one of the guys, one of the lead characters. And it's like, no, because I know your story, bro, it makes sense. That's what makes me say, bro, I'm keen. I'm going to be cheering this guy on every step of the way. even if acting isn't the way, bro, footy, bro, let's go, At the end of the day, man, for me, it's not about what you do, bro. It's about who you are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I love about this, bro, because now people are going to start to know more about you, man, and be like, bro, I can't wait to know more about, who Brendon is. But other than that, man, before we finish up, I got one more question for you, bro, and then we'll wrap up this podcast episode. And so, bro, knowing that you shared your story, you shared the story about, you growing up with, being the eldest in the family, and then from there, wanting to, like, your goal was to be a an NRL player, and then even going through your mental health stages in life of going through high school and struggling, and it was all due to simply not getting picked, right? Knowing that you're busting your butt off, bro, working hard, and just hoping for a call up to say, what, you're playing this week, and then now going through COVID and getting into acting. Although it was a joke, bro, and then seeing where you are now, man, right? Bro, there's so many things that we can talk about. But the one thing I want to ask you, man, before we wrap up this podcast is there an encouragement, man, that you have on your heart that you're willing to share to those out there that are listening to this podcast episode?
Definitely, bro. I want to mention a song that I love singing at church. And one of the phrases, or one of the lines in the song goes, onward, ever onward. And I guess what I want to share and encourage is to keep pressing forward. To, even if we stop moving, even if we stop progressing, to just stop even for just a little bit, regather yourself, and then keep moving forward. Keep grinding hard every day. It doesn't matter what you're doing to move forward, just as long as you're moving forward. A lot of us are doing it tough out there. So, I want to encourage you, as you are moving forward, bring your brothers and sisters up together with you, man. Like, us Islanders in the Pacific, in the film industry, we're grinding hard, but we're going to bring the whole of Western Sydney, the whole of Pacifica with us, bro. So I encourage you all to, whatever you may be doing, whatever endeavors you may be doing, to press forward, to stay diligent, to grind hard, to stay consistent, man. And, one day you'll get there. And you look back and you'll be grateful that you pressed so hard and so fast. You'll be grateful that you pressed onward and onward. So, yeah, that's my word of encouragement that I leave to you guys. And, hopefully I can see you guys up in the film industry pretty soon.
Yeah, no, sweet, man, bro. Thank you so much for that encouragement, man. I'm getting encouraged too. People don't understand, but the beauty behind me being a podcast host is that I get to hear it firsthand. That's the best thing, bro. It's the best thing. So, bro, I truly honor you, bro. Appreciate you for tuning into this podcast episode, and bro, even that taking out your time. But, bro, if there are people out there that are wanting to connect with you, or even that wanting to know more about you and what you're doing in terms of your acting career, but even that, just you being a person, what's the best way that they can contact you?
So the best way to contact me would probably be my Instagram. So my Instagram is it's a bit of an awkward name. I only recently changed it. But yeah, I'm sure if you just type up Brendon Tapuai on Instagram, my name should come up. Then you'll get a funky username like Brengelinge that'll pop up. So yeah, that's the best way to contact me. I'm a person who can't stand having notifications in my DMs. So trust me, when you message me, I'll reply. I'll reply really quick. I can't stand having messages in my DMs. So yeah, that's the best way to contact me. So yeah, if you ever have any questions, if you ever feel like reaching out, having a chat, just need encouragement, then I'm always there. So yeah.
Yeah, sweet, bro. And so for those out there that are watching this, through our YouTube channel, make sure that you guys are, look in the links down below. Like, we'll have his link down there. But if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, check out our Instagram where he'll be featured. We'll be promoting him on our Instagram page, and he'll also be on our following list with all the rest of the special guests that we've had on the podcast show. And so, yeah, we'll be following him on his journey too. That's the cool thing about being a part of the Impact Podcast show. Alumni guests is that you guys get to be a part of the the other crew out there, and that would be cool. But other than that, that is all that we got for this episode. Hey. Brendon, bro, thank you so much for jumping on.
Oh, sure. Such an honor, my bro. Privilege, man. This is, man, it's still crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this stuff, man. So, I thank you for having me on your podcast again, my bro. So, yeah, I appreciate all you do for the community, man. Like, I was really surprised when you told me you had Izzy on here. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're doing what you do for our community. And, I'm grateful. So, yeah, I hope that our podcast today, our conversation today will hopefully impact at least one person listening or watching out there. And, if it can do that much, then, I'm happy, bro. Happy days. So, yeah, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. It's all good, man. It's all good, bro. And you know what? I believe that this ain't going to be the last time we're going to have a chat. So, yeah, we'll see more to come. But guys, that is all that we got. Thank you for those that are tuning in. Thank you guys for listening on, and we'll see you guys in the next one.